Okay. Hello, I'm Alek, and I'm dealing with agile topic since I started as a consultant since 2008, helping companies to implement agile methods different. But myself, I've been using this for my work since 2003. Initial ideas how to do that, and it was like I heard about the words as a Scrum. I heard about different framework, but the main thing what I started in 2003-2002, it was iterative approach. So it was 1 month cycle, and we reviewed all our work, and we just planned things, and then we had a review. So that was the initial idea of how to be more effective, and it helped a lot. If you're still not doing some kind of iterative, at least approach, then you should. Okay, now my question: who is doing agile, or who sees as agile company or agile development? Okay, 50%. Okay, who is dealing with procurements or purchasing? Purchasing other companies' services. One person, two-ish. Okay, so good. And what I see nowadays, I'm working now not so much with the teams, but majority of my work is happening with management or also procurement. And last 2 years I've been working with public sector, and they had issues. So they said, okay, some guys there in the public sector, they want to be agile. You can believe it or not. they are saying, okay, we want to do stuff in agile way. And then they are purchasing, writing down documents. So we want to buy a company that is doing agile. The issue is that you will not find any company nowadays who would say that they are waterfall. Quite hard. All doing agile, at least on the website, right? And when they finish their procurement, at the end they see that people who are coming in, they know nothing about agility. So they don't know how to work in sprints, why Scrum is important, why it is important to collaborate. They're saying, okay, we need to start analyze things. When we analyze, then we develop, and then we come back to you and show it. And they've been very stressed. So, and it wasn't only in one organization, but in many different organizations. So we thought that, okay, we need to change something. We need to figure out how to procure in a way that they can get good skills and good people for their products and projects. And we started to analyze. So what are the issues? What is the problem? Why it's not working, and how to purchase, for what product we need agile. I have to say that now it's kind of, it goes in the procurement also. So that it's the same way as if you go to any software development company, you will see that they are agile on the website, right? And now also companies or public sector who wants to purchase software development, They are saying that they, pretty much all saying that they want to purchase in an agile way. And somehow there is a big mismatch. Things are not coming together. So, but reality is, and that's the mGOOD or goal-oriented objective decision is all about that you don't need to be agile in every domain and every system. And there is a different types of systems, and this is something that goes to the complexity theory. So we need, and today we will be talking about complexity bit, but not only complexity. Okay, who is developer here? Okay, good. So it's like, so I need to adopt it to have something that is.
Whom were you expecting here?
No. I'm asking. I'm not. I want to understand the split. So, who studied economics? Okay. People who are you working with, are they rather, or people who are receiving the product that you are producing, are they rather economical guys or technical guys? So who sees the customers as economical guys or business side? Okay, it's a bit more than half. Okay, good. And who sees as a technical? Okay, and so my today's I have quite heavy slides here, but I want to go somehow out of this heavy talk. So you are more than welcome to ask questions. You are more than welcome to just take position. You can do whatever you want, so let's have a discussion also. But why mGOOD? So the answer is that we need some kind of simple tool that can help us to identify what is economically most advantageous. If you don't know, but you are in the business. If you are in IT, so we are in the business. We are helping business, we are doing business, we are changing business, and we do things in a more efficient way than ever before. So business can earn a lot of money. And people who are purchasing your software, they are rather thinking about money. So the idea here is that we need to start thinking, or if we want to achieve good relationships and really understand what is important, we need to start when we are on development side. So then we need to learn how to talk with business in a way that they understand. Who would love to do that? To talk with business so that they are listening to you. Okay, good. And it's really pleasant thing if you are talking and they are listening and they are asking questions and they see that okay, you are really person who they can trust. But economically is not only price, and that is also one thing what is kind of not working well currently in the procurement. That most of the time people, when they think about economically most advantages, they are talking about price, and that is wrong. So economically, most advantages, it's sometimes saved life, for example, lives. If we talk about procurement, or if we talk about public sector, and or it may be knowledge, it may be potential to grow, market position, etc. So it's good to understand where are we at the moment, what is our product, where our product goes, how we can be valuable and beneficial to the business, how we can do the right thing. I skip about mGOOD and where it came from. So I talked that it's coming from my work with public sector, but then it was also last version, this version what we have is coming from Kanban. It's a Welsh word framework coming from Dave Snowden. Have you heard about Dave Snowden? Not so much. That's okay.
He has been in Riga a couple of times, I think, in conferences.
Was he?
Yeah, I've listened to him in Riga for a couple of
good.
times.
Very interesting. I somehow missed that. Last time he was in Ukraine, the nearest. Okay, so that's the thing, the framework. The first thing what we put together with the public sector when we started to map things. It's not important for you currently, just that it was. So that's the framework, that's the Dave Snowden, and his work, or more than 16 years of putting together the framework about the complexity, about the system, about the humans, and how human can interact with the system. And this is really very powerful. So my framework, this mGOOD framework, what I have at the moment, is very heavily influenced by Kanban framework. It's a Welsh word, that's why it's pronounced differently. So, but now, first of all, we need to understand that there is a business goal, right? That's why we do things. It's not just because we like it, but because we want to earn money. But if we talk about business, then there is always fight. Should we build new system, or should we continue just keeping what we have at the moment in our company? Right? Have you seen this?
Yes.
Or should we refactor? Right? There is always fight. Product owner says, no, let's not do this. It's like we can manage it. Let's do some new stuff. And there is also cost of delay, and that's the new thing what I want you to remember. So cost of delay. There is always very important to understand what happens if we are delaying with the service, with the product, with the feature what we are developing. And one example of cost of delay, it's like simple example. There is a bank in Canada. They figure out that when people are going, and quite very big, large Canadian bank, and I don't know, do you have this problem? But I had this problem several times. When you go to abroad somewhere outside from, for example, of European Union, and you want to pay by bank card, you're going to the point of sale with your stuff, you want to pay for the goods, and then they're saying, oh, your card is declined. Have you seen this kind of thing? No, not so much. It's, but it was a couple years ago, it still was there, so people had big issues with the paying every time when they go abroad, so there is a bank procedure that if person goes somewhere outside of the country, so first they are declining all transaction coming from different places. And then person in shock calling to bank and to the customer service, and in approximately 15 minutes everything solved. So they just approving, saying everything fine, now client goes and paying. So they calculated how many people were calling to this service, and they figured out that around it was a number, like crazy number, 500,000 calls, and each call was around 15 minutes. When they calculated all together, so how much money they are losing by just not having some kind of tool that people can inform easily up front that they are going abroad. And they understood that there was a loss, economical loss of 750,000 Canadian dollars per month because of this 15 minutes of call to the customer support. So it was quite amazing and quite big number of money what they lost, been losing in one month. And they also figure out that the time they can develop this service. You cannot go and start and do this straight away. You need some time to start developing it, right? And in big company it takes time. New project and etc, etc, etc. So they also understood that they will, if they start today, they can deliver this project in 3 months. So that's the cost of delay. So you can calculate 2 millions just because they wasn't thinking about the business goal, what they want to achieve. So this is something that you need to start thinking always. And if you will figure out the cost of delay and you transform this in an economical language, business people will love you. Then there is a partner who should do this. Is it important to have sustainable and big company? Like you have one here in Latvia, in Riga. I'm living up, in front of this. It's I forgot the name, but it's VEF.
So it's Accenture.
Right. So Evil Knievel. Somebody's from Accenture? No? But should we buy from the big and sustainable company that can bring you meat? Meat when you need one? Or we can, and how important for us standardization? Should we standardize and say that, okay, we are working this way? And there is a skill also, skills. Should we purchase from a new startup? We don't know them much, but they have eyes really burning and they want to do whatever they've been given. Or we go into the specialization and heavy specialization and some maybe 15-20 years of experience guys. So that's the challenge what business always has. And they unfortunately are quite bad in figuring out what they real needs are. What they do with procurement, they want to have always maximum. We want to have 15 years of experience, all guys in the team should have 15 years of experience, and then you need to show us that your turnover is 3 million each year, etc., etc. And unfortunately, it's not helping them to achieve the business goals.
Got a question?
Yes?
So, are these all trade-offs? So, under business goal, you've got novelty versus cost of delay. Does that mean if you go for novelty, you're increasing the cost of delay? Are they all trade-offs? You have one or the other?
They are related. But there is a novelty is also, as I said, there is a question rather, okay, maybe I should continue working with old systems. Or should I build a new one? But we will get there very soon. Okay, so one book that I am really encouraging you to read, especially if you want to become a manager at some point, or you want to become a business person at some point. That's the book you need to crack. It's one of the toughest books what I have read, but I have to say that that's the book what's helping a lot of product managers really to understand what is important. There is a different set of principles that you can read, but those principles are really like a gold. And here is just a very small portion of principles. The economic view of product development enables approach decision as economic choices. So you are not just talking with your product manager, I want to refactor because I know that there is things that are dangerous. But you are explaining in the way that if you are saying that if we will not refactor, we can lose, or we are losing X amount of money. Or vice versa, you can say, if we refactor this, we can earn X amount of money in 2-3 months back. Hard, but that's the skill you should learn. First market principle, and we are all in the market, we are all in the business. Ensure that decision makers feel both cost and benefit. Who is in software development house? So you are delivering product to the external customer. So have you heard about cost center? Do you know what does it mean, cost center? Not so much. Okay, so cost center is a place where you are just people are losing money there.
Don't go there.
Why? So only when you are in the, if you are building your own product and you are really responsible for both sides of that product, on the revenue and the costs, that's the place where things are starting to change. Unfortunately, for example, for example, I've been working with telecoms, and they want to be agile, but they have separate departments. There is a department responsible for sales, and there is a department responsible for the development. One is a cost center, another is a place where money comes in, and they are not related. So there is only one way how to deal and understand what is important if you go and you start putting things together. So you need to be responsible for both sides. And if business people see that you are really thinking about profit part, not only just what I want to do, then you will gain a lot of trust. So you can even be a very trustful partner if you are in software house, but you need to start thinking about how to earn money. So I'm changing this message to the developers. And one thing that's Donald Reinersten saying that if you want to measure something, measure just one thing, cost of delay. So how much money we can lose, or how much value we are not getting if we are not having this service in place. Okay, now we go into the framework. So it was just a kind of principles and what is behind this framework. But first thing, okay, as I said, cost of delay. Each system or each service, each feature you can set somewhere on the continuum. There is a high cost of delay, and for example also losing lives, as I said, for procurement. So we can lose some lives if we are not doing this. And there is a very low cost of delay. So nothing happens if we just unplug this server. Nobody will start to shout. And the first thing to start understanding where is our service, where we should map it. And then there is another thing, it's like we already said, is it new or old? Just by putting the system in this, currently it's quadrants, it's already helping you to understand next steps. And what are the quadrants here? So for example, if we have cost of delay low, and we have well-known solution, so something that is really, we understand everything. For example, Microsoft Word, processor, just typing processor. So what happens if Word is not working or it's uninstalled? Nothing.
Depends on context, but okay.
Yes, but okay, we have files, but we don't have this application. So we can, it's predictable and it's repeatable. We can install it again and we can continue working. With systems, we have the same thing. We have simple or obvious systems. We can predict behavior, we can repeat it. So then there is a next thing. And Canadian also saying that this is complicated. So systems where relationships are known, we know the relationships that there is in place, but not self-evident. So that means that we need some analysis. We need to figure out, we need some people who are skilled enough with expertise who can come and dig into this domain. But we know that those relationships, we can explain, and people who are able to translate this in technical terms, they can help us. So complicated. But this is something different. So cost of delay high, and it's going to unknown, new solution. Relationships is rather hindsight, sorry, there is a typo, hindsights. So something that you are understand that something is there, but I cannot explain how does it work. It's unpredictable and it's rather emerges. So those systems are called complex system. And a very hard thing here, that people who are in this system, if they do something, they are changing the system behavior totally. So people are becoming part of those systems. And last one, it's a new, but it's like cost of delay cheap. So no relationships can be determined. And there is two things. It can be very dangerous if we go from the predictable system, somehow we get changing ourselves and getting there, then that's the chaos, right? So we don't want to be in the chaos, and we want to stabilize, and we want to go back. But innovation also is here. Things that we don't know, are there. And we need to use totally different set of practices and set of tools in each of those quadrants. Unfortunately, when we are purchasing, or when we want to start new system, or we want to start new feature, we are not mapping this. And we want to use the same approaches and same tools in each of those quadrants. And that's the biggest mistake of the purchasing customers. But what is the goal? So here's the goals. If we have, for example, a system that is predictable and repeatable, business don't need anything else than just to have sustainable operations. That the system works and produces the value. We need to keep this system, and we need to just have this in place. If we have this system with known relationships, then rather goal is efficiency and productivity. How to make it faster, how to make it more efficient, how to make this business process in a way that we can remove people out of it. And if we go there, then only innovative and holistic solutions, as there is many actors, different parts, and only if you look at this from the up to down, only then you can really get this value in this domain. And in the last one, there is you can get value there also. As I said, there is new ideas, there is insights, and there is a learning. What you want to get from the last one, but nothing much else. And also because of Dave, I added two these things, but this one is important. This place is called place of disorder. So, and I had really worked with a client. They had a lot of systems, and they put all their systems in the middle. They couldn't figure out where to go. Dave Snowden says that, unfortunately, majority of the time at work, we are here. We are here, in the middle. We cannot identify what type of the system we are working with. And also there is that's the wave kind of mark. So you don't want to go over this wave from the predictable system to chaotic or unpredictable. And so that's why you rather want to stay here and not going there. Systems can go this way, but not jumping from the predictable to chaotic. You don't want to go there. Okay, so now we had to add it when we've been working with product managers. So okay, what kind of skills do we need? And now it's about you guys. They want you for different systems, right? If you are a developer. And if we are dealing with those complex and unknown, then multidisciplinary and visioning skills are critical. So this full stack developer thing is there. person who can see the vision where the technology goes. That's the skills. It's a skill. It's not just born or you just have it straight away. No, it's a skill. You need to, if you want to, you need to develop it. But there is other skill, also important, specialization. So it's not the right to say that everyone needs to be visionary or person who can explain and be a leadership. We also need people who knows everything about nothing, who goes down and they understand how things are working on a deep technological level. And that's the skill. So you need to learn it. And of course there is also trade-off, how experienced you should be. And of course if you have complex or those critical, life-critical systems, then experience is really important. But for things that are not so costly at the moment or expensive for us, so it's not important to have people with 20 plus years of experience. Okay. And now one more level, and you don't see it's red, it's black on your side, but so now if you add also, so if you see that there is a strong push, that if you want to take part in very critical, mission critical system, and it's totally new one here, so you need to have this kind of skills in your company. Ability to solve complex multi-system, multi-departmental problems. If you go to known system, then there is something else is important. It's high level of stability, so that the company can ensure for the procurement from the business side that they can bring all needed skills. If somebody of you are deciding to go to new startup, cool one, newest one, from this big software house, and this software house needs to ensure that they can bring somebody else and fill this gap. Here in this segment, and that was the most important thing what they figure out. If you have something not so critical and it's well known, then you can just purchase the cheapest possible, but with well working process and standards. And that is also important, and there is a lot of these systems in the business that need to be just maintained. You don't need to have their very expensive person. You can purchase, for example, students can fill this role quite well if they just work by very well-defined steps and process, and they can help to maintain this system in the good shape. So, and the methods. Now let's talk about the methods. Okay, what kind of methods we need in one segment or another? As I said, so you don't need any methods here. You just buy the cheapest possible. But you have to ensure that the company can provide that they have experience working by the well-defined processes. So if your company is selling that we have well-defined processes, then they are competing in cheap price, and it's not a good place to be. It's okay if it's strategical, but if you want to grow, you want to go somewhere else, you want to be different in a different segment, then maybe you are not fitting well with the culture of the company. And then you are not satisfied. Here, it's not only one thing, but the most important thing, of course, is expertise. So who are the people who are coming in? What they expertise in the domain, in the segment. And then there is a price, release cadence, speed, and quality. So you need to check different things. Still price is important, right? Here. There. New ones. Something different happens. You need to ensure that you have repetitive, iterative, walking skeleton delivery, continuous testing and prototyping. And if business saying you that we need a totally new system, it's very life critical system, but they are saying that you need to deliver everything with a cheap price, so then there is a big mismatch. And you will have a conflict of different interests. Just seeing and understanding this can help you to have a good talks. If there is no public procurement, right? Or maybe I have good friend of mine, they are decided that they are never going to participate in any procurement. They are also in software house and they saying no procurements. Why? Because we cannot discuss. Why? Because we cannot deliver what we are good at. We are working in this domain and there is no discussion about the price, but something else needs to happen. And if we go here, in this domain, then there is a hypothesis. You need to set up hypothesis and have very quick and tangible results, insights, that you can use later for the next hypothesis. Again, totally different approach. And know nothing about the price. It's not about price there. So, the whole framework is here. And now the last thing here. Okay, it's not the last, that's the whole framework. And that's the thing, what I'm suggesting now, for example, to the procurement. So first of all, of course, map your system. Understand what do you want from the business perspective, first. When you have the idea of the cost of delay, when you have the idea about novelty of the system, or you want to maintain the system, then it's much more easier for you to set up the principle or framework or tool that you can use. It's good to have, for example, SLAs in the simple domain. And you're just expecting, you are not interested who is doing this work, you are just expecting that SLAs are met. If you go to this known, but maybe mission critical, then Kanban is quite good approach. It's stable, it's quite stable, system is there for a long time, so everything what comes in, you just solve it. You have your time for analysis, you have your time for development, and it's just a rather of management of the flow. That everything what goes in, what is really business important from the business side, is going out. And now it's Scrum. It's not seen here, but there is an arrow covering approximately this this part. Scrum and less. So if you have large scale Scrum, with large system, it can be new also, then that's the domain where you can operate. Not exactly here. As you go more and more here, then you want to use this safe fail approach. So it's not designing safety, no. It's about failing in a safe environment. That's what you need to build. Safe, fail approach. Enabling constraints, of course, that's the key. And Dave Snowden saying that if you just letting developers do whatever they want here in this domain, here, it will be chaos. And fascism will win. Somebody will come with very strict rules, what to do. And fascism will always winning this race. So that's why you need to bring enabling constraints, like, for example, TDD, continuous delivery, as a constraint, enabling constraint. That's what you want to implement there. Things that enables your team to go into the right direction. It's not just putting some strict rules, not don't do this, no. It's rather saying, okay, do this. Do continuous delivery. Do review feedback. Do setup test up front. That's the things what you want to have here. So those things that are helping you. And here, as I said, very short and quick stabilization, learning. No, there is always novel practice. Okay, so best practices here, good practices here, emergent practices here, and novel practices there. You don't know. If you are a manager, you don't want to set some kind of rules, and that was my message to procurement and public sector. They want to regulate everything, right? That's the DNA. But when they heard about that, they understood, wow, okay, I see. If I want to achieve something here, in mission critical, but totally new for us, but important for the public, so I cannot regulate there. I can set up just very simple things as collaborative approach, co-location, continuous delivery. And then, if you go here, you don't know what you don't know, then have just hackathons or some kind of events where many different companies are coming in without any experience, maybe just teams, and they are solving some new things for you, and you can learn from there. So that's why Lean Startup fits perfectly well also in public sector organization or large corporate environment. So that is pretty much it from my side. So you don't need always Agile or Scrum for every system. Don't do this stupid mistake. You don't need to have always the same level of skills for each systems. You just need to understand where we are with our system, what is the right tool or approach we need to start using. And then I do believe that you will bring a lot of economical success in your organization or your client's organization. And they will trust you, they will talk with you with grown-ups, and this is really pleasant place when you feel that you are a partner but not just the cost center or meat. So thank you from my side, and my questions I
Can I maybe thanks for this, even though I did have some issues with it, but this is really good and very interesting. What I'm really interested in, how do government organizations, when you go to them and tell them this, how do they react to this? Because in my experience, they can't get over the fact that they love their SLAs, they know ITIL, so that's what they're gonna require always from everybody, even though they really want to. They would love to have innovative solution, but they also put some SLAs on it just to be sure.
Yeah, we just.
How does it work when you go to them and tell them, hey guys, you should not have SLAs in this procurement contract?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just asking them. Okay, let's start from the square one. Put your system in the right place. Understand where is your system currently. When they are already setting the system, then we just bring this theory and explanation. And then they are saying, yes, I understand, I see. So at least those organizations I've been working with, and quite big number of people, they took this like, thank you, and saying that, okay, now we need to review how we should start doing things, how we can procure. They understood if they won't always regulate everything here and saying that you have to do Scrum here, then they are losing the potential and brain power of people who need to solve, and they have much more experience than anyone else. And etc., etc. So people, when you bring economical language, and they see that they are losing real money or real life, and that was real situation. Like there is a big, there was a calculation of cost of delay of the number of young people before who are getting in the age of 18, how many people were died because of drowning. And they understood that the number, if they put all the numbers of lives together and just calculate how many money were spent on them and how many money was not received in the next 40 years, they just like realized, wow, it's a lot of money for the small country Estonia, and then if we are not starting doing something with that, so we just losing it every day. So economical language. Yes?
I have a question about the SLA. Basically, you point only to one place, right? This is the follow-up question from
it's not only one place, but it's at least like very clear that here it's good fit.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's good fit. I'm just having a practical example. You have system which is on top rightmost corner, and sorry, system from left one, bottom one. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, and you start to disrupt the system by the new small system from the top right corner. Yeah.
This one.
Or, yeah, mostly that.
Mm-hmm.
System still lives, and there are still SLAs, right? So you need to fulfill those, and the cost of delays is still there.
Yes.
Basically, there is no difference in how you put it, but the need of the business is the same. So I'm just trying to think if SLA is the equivalent of like legacy system and no SLAs.
Not always, no. Of course, you can have very high cost of delay. So SLA is just, I brought this term specially because, as you said, that they want the SLA everywhere. So that's why, that was the reason why I put this in extreme on there. But the SLA also can be here, and here. So it's okay to have SLAs, but they need to enable you to do the goal, achieve this business goal of novelty. If SLA is not enabling you, then it's rather preventing the business to achieve the maximum.
I'm just,
Yes.
if you kind of okay with the answer, just curious for audience, if you had to say the system you're working on right now, which quadrant is it in? Because I have a feeling this is psychological traps that everybody would say, hey, I'm in the top right. But well, it's, you know, it's very important and it's very, you know, complex and lots of unknowns,
Exactly.
so it must be there.
Exactly.
Is there anyone who thinks they're not in top right one?
Well, they might be in several of them.
Do you think you are not in top right?
I'm in bottom left and top right. Because,
Okay.
well, the system which we are doing now, it's evolving.
Yeah,
We need to run the maintenance, and that's that.
yeah, sure.
And we need at the same time enable new features and find the technical debt. And it's there. It's sometimes even there, the early startup, because when we are starting to find the technical debt, wow, that's the beast are there, the dragons are in there, so we have no idea what we are doing sometimes. So we are spanning all over. And that's a real life. You cannot put it just in one quadrant because it's everywhere.
It's not efficient if all people doing all this work.
Well, and that's fine.
It's not efficient from the perspective of the skills.
Yes.
You have different skills and different people, that's why you need to, from this perspective, if you have such kind of system, yes, then it's good to say, okay, that there is a one service, there is another service, and there is a maybe third service. And then you have different setup and different teams for different services.
And this is exactly what we are doing. We are having different teams with a kind of different skills for that.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that's
a little bit complication with the code base sometimes, but well, it's another topic.
yes, but it's good if you have this decision, right? And everyone understand why we do this in that way. Then a lot of stress disappears, people becoming really like objective, and that's the goal of the framework. So just to have this clear decision and clear understanding why we are taking this or that approach in our work. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Latvian tip I need you don't have it in Estonia.
No.
Yeah.
And wine also
This
does
is
have.
Latvian beer.
Thank you.
And non-Latvian wine.
No,
Yeah.